Hello everyone, welcome to economic course once again. So I think like all of the student has joined. If there's somebody is missing, so they will catch up on us. So we're gonna start a new chapter today. It's about the competitive market. More specifically, the firms that are in competitive market. Okay. So what is the competitive market actually itself? Competitive market is the market that has a perfectly competitive manner. Okay, let me just check it. And it has many buyers and the sellers, where the sellers specifically they trade identical products. The products are very similar to each other, and here's one condition exists that each buyer and the seller, they are the price taker. They do not determine the price. The price is determined by demand and supply, like as invisible hand theory is stating by Adam Smith. The firms can freely enter to the market and they freely can exit the market. Actually, the firm they enter to the market when there is a sign that there is a profit or revenue, and the firm they go out of the market when there is a sign that they are losing their money, like there's a loss or the potential losses that may come out. They may leave the market at that time, and nobody intervene, and there is no such a case that you cannot enter easily, you cannot go out easily. So everything is done freely, like there's no obstacles on this. So perfectly competitive market is the place where goods and services are identical, and the buyers and the sellers, they are just price takers, nothing more. They cannot influence the price. If they can influence the price, then the market is not anymore a competitive market. It is more close to monopolistic oriented market. So in a competitive market, the firm always tries to maximize the profit. To maximize the profit, to earn some profit is basically what you know from the previous classes is total revenue minus total cost. This would give you a profit, and total revenue, it is calculated by price times quantity. This is what you know. And quantity is the proportional to the amount of the output. Okay. Once we know the total revenue, how it's calculated, price times quantity, there is a way to find the average revenue, which is total revenue divided by the quantity sold. And marginal revenue, like if you remember the marginal cost and marginal product, incremental change in cost or product by change in quantity. So it is the same thing with the marginal revenue, is the change in total revenue from additional quantity produced or quantity units sold. So for a competitive firm, if total revenue is or profit is maximized when average revenue is equal to price and when the marginal revenue is equal to the price. So it is therefore competitive conditions. So we'll get into more detail of this rules a little bit later. So here we are given a table where we have quantity of gallon produced and the price for each, like is $6, total revenue, average revenue, and the marginal revenue. And profit is maximized profit is maximized, it is when we set total revenue, or let me just directly margin, oops, sorry, is this one? When the marginal revenue is equal to price and is equal to average revenue. So this is the when the profit is maximized. So we have to find the point where the profit is maximized and where the firms, they get the maximum benefit while producing and selling it. It is the point of definitely $6, or we can see in here, where the total revenue is equal to 6, average revenue is equal to 6, and the marginal revenue is equal to 6. So this is the place we can say that selling 2 gallons will give you the maximum benefit. Why? Because your average revenue is equal to 6 and the price is 6. If you go with the 4th gallon, you will see the things as well. So how they're calculated is given in here. The total revenue is calculated price times quantity. Average revenue is calculated total revenue divided by quantity, and the marginal revenue is change in total revenue divided by change in quantity. So coming to the profit maximization into more details, it will produce the quantity where the total revenue minus total cost is greatest. And comparing the marginal revenue with the marginal cost will come with the following decision. If in the case that marginal revenue is more than marginal cost, then there is a decision by the firm to increase the production to generate more profit. However, if the marginal revenue becomes less than marginal cost, there will be a decision by the firm to decrease the production in order to reduce the extra cost that has been incurred in order to proceed to maximize the profit. And the maximizing profit point will be equal when the marginal revenue is equal to the marginal cost. So in here we are given a table again with mixture of total cost and the total revenue. So in the first column we have quantity produced. In the second column we have the total revenue. In third column we have total cost. In fourth column we have profit. It's a difference between total revenue minus total cost. And marginal revenue is the change in total revenue divided by change in quantity, additional like of quantity. And marginal cost is the change in total cost divided by the change in the quantity. And we said that the profit is maximized so let me put it here. Profit is maximized when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. This is the point where the profit is being maximized. So we have to see where it has been maximized in this table. When their marginal revenue will be equal to marginal cost, or directly finding the change when the change is equal to 0. So this is the point we should find it. As you go from here, from the first production, you can see marginal revenue is 6 and the marginal cost is 3. You remember the case? It is said that if marginal revenue is higher than marginal cost, then the firm should increase the production. If marginal revenue is lower than marginal cost, then decision by the firm should be decreasing the production. Now in here we see that in 1 here, if it's producing 1, marginal revenue from 0 to 1 is equal to 6, and marginal cost is 2. So marginal revenue is higher than the marginal cost, which means that production should keep increasing. That will bring more money to the company. That will bring more profit. So decision by the firm should be taken that production should be increasing, but till the point where the marginal revenue is higher than equal to marginal cost. But if the firm produced 7 units, at 7 units from 6 to 7, the marginal revenue is 6. However, the marginal cost is 8. We can see that the marginal revenue is less than marginal cost. That means that firms should take the decision to reduce the production in order to come up to the maximum point of the profit generation. Otherwise, if he keeps increasing the production, it will incur more cost. More total cost will be incurred. That will bring less profit. So the best point from here should increase, and from here they should decrease the production. So which means that we should go increasing if you're here, we should go decreasing our production level if you're here. However, we should reach to the point where the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. And this is the point where the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost is 6, 6. Okay, 6 and 6. So this is the point where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. So this is the place where the profit is maximized. Where is this the place where the profit is generated is a very good profit. So they should produce 5 units. If they produce 5 units, they will sell for total revenue 30, and their cost will be 23. And in case they're going to have the profit 7. So if they produce more units, that you can see, the profit will go to 6. If they produce less units, their profit will go to 6. So the best point where the total revenue, marginal revenue, and the marginal cost is maximized. So marginal curve, cost curve, and the firm supply decision. Marginal cost curve is upward sloping. Average total cost curve is a U shape. When the marginal cost curve crosses the ATS, we remember from the previous class, it is the point of minimum of ATS. It is the point where the cost is minimized. So in the line, there is a price line, which is horizontal, where the P is equal to average revenue and this equal to marginal revenue. This is average total cost. This is average variable cost. This is marginal cost. And this is the price which is given. So the firm will maximize the profit where the price will be equal to average revenue, it will be equal to marginal revenue, and this will be equal to marginal cost. This is the point. And we said that when the marginal cost interacts or crosses the average total cost, this will be the minimum cost that will be incurred by company. So this is the minimum point. So this is the way they're going to increase, the way they're going to make a profit. And this is the place where the firms they maximize profit by producing the quantity at which marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. So this is maximizing point. The minimum point is this is the point, okay? So in this figure, we can see that the marginal cost curve, we have average total cost curve as well from the previous lecture, and we have average variable cost curve. But we are missing here average fixed cost curve that is eventually decreasing order, because as the quantity grows, the fixed average cost is going down. So the market price, which for the comparative firm is equal to both marginal revenue and average revenue. So in a comparative market, it is the case. At the same quantity one, Q1, the marginal revenue is more than marginal cost. So the production should increase. That will increase the profit. If this is the case, okay, marginal revenue, this is the marginal revenue, it is more than marginal cost. So at this point, you see marginal revenue and marginal cost. Marginal revenue is higher than marginal cost. It increases the production. That will lead to higher profit. At quantity 2, here, marginal cost is higher than the marginal revenue. So decreasing the production, this will increase the profit as well. So you should be able, by table you understood how to find a maximized profit level. Now by diagram, this is the way. If marginal cost is higher than marginal revenue, increasing the production will increase the profit. If this is the point Q2, marginal cost is higher than marginal revenue, decreasing the production will increase the profit. So the profit maximizing quantity, Qmax, here, is found where the horizontal line represents the price intersecting with the marginal cost curve. So this is the point that we're talking. So here's the summary, the rules that we have come up with. If marginal revenue is greater than the marginal cost, the firm should increase the output. If the marginal cost is more than marginal revenue, the firm should decrease the output. Why they should do it? In order to maximize the profit maximizing level, to reach the profit maximizing level. And it is the place where the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Marginal cost curve determines the quantity of the goods firm is willing to supply it at any price, and is the supply curve as well. So marginal cost here, as you see that as the price increases, the quantity will increase. That reminds us there is a connection, there is a very high correlation between the supply curve, and we can say it is just similar and it's the same as supply curve. Okay. Coming to the shutdown points and exit points, when the firm they should exit and when the firm they should shut down. In short run decision, they shut down just not to produce anything during the specific of time. And because of the current market condition that they face, the firm still face, they have to pay the fixed cost. And if you remember, the fixed cost was what? Fixed cost is you pay a fixed amount of money to sustain your business, even if you are not producing anything. That fixed cost can be a rent, fixed cost can be electricity or anything else that does not change if you even do not produce. And in the short run, the decision to shut down will be for certain conditions. For example, that we are living now and we are facing this pandemic, coronavirus. And because of this coronavirus in Kazakhstan, in all other countries, they have put a quarantine system where the firms, they are not allowed to produce because there is no demand and there is no supply, then later will be there. Then they are shutting down their businesses for temporary issue, and that temporarily maybe will be until 30th of April or a little bit longer. So it is in the short run they shut down. However, shutting down their businesses, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not paying anything. They incur the cost, that which is the fixed cost, the fixed cost they pay. For example, the private schools in here, the children, they used to go to school now, but once this pandemic took the place, the children, they stopped going to school. So for the private school, they need to shut down for a while. However, by shutting down, it does not make them out of paying or saving their money, but they will still pay the fixed cost. That fixed cost will be for them a rental fee. In the long run, if the same market condition continues, there is no demand on their products and still it continues, then the firms, they may take the decision to go out of the market. They will leave the market. And if the firm may not have enough money to sustain their businesses, because extra cost comes and more, they're not capable to pay it. So that's why they need to leave the market. So in the short run, they will shut down, they will stop producing. However, there will be some fixed cost, but in the long run, they will leave the market if it still continues. So the firm's short-run decision to shut down is related more to total revenue and the variable cost. We said that in the short run, fixed cost is not considered because fixed cost is the cost that you will pay in even if you are not producing anything. The firm's decision to shut down in the short run will be if total revenue less than variable cost, or if the price is less than average variable cost. Okay, this is the condition for shutting down for temporary manner in a short run. In a competitive firm's short run supply curve, the portion of the marginal cost curve lies above the average variable cost. Here we go. So in the first case, the short run case, the firm produces on the marginal cost curve if P is more than average variable cost. So in here, that the price should be more than the average variable cost. Here's the average variable cost. So the firm will produce if they're here somewhere. So they should be higher than the average variable cost, higher the line. If P becomes less than average variable cost, like it falls below, if they're here somewhere, price is this one. If they fall below the average variable cost, then the firms, they shut down. Because why? There's a condition, total revenue becomes less than variable cost, where the P falls below the average variable cost. That makes the decision for the firm to shut down the firm because they will not produce anything. However, in the short run, they will still incur the cost. That cost will be a fixed cost. So there is a new terminology that we're facing. The sunk cost is the cost that has been already incurred by a firm, and this cost cannot be recovered. This should be ignored when the firm takes the decision. There is a saying, like, don't cry over the spilled milk because you already pay for it, and it shouldn't affect any future further decisions that you take, because in the short run, the fixed costs are always to be considered as a sunk cost, because still you're going to pay it in any way. If you do produce, if you don't produce, because you made an agreement, you have to pay for it, the fixed cost. But if you shut down the firm, you should shut down for a temporary. But if it still continues growing the cost, and if it still continues that you're not generating enough total revenue that is less than variable cost, then you should take the decision, like as a firm, to leave the market in the long run. But in the short run, you will be in the market. Okay, no messages. Okay, here I'm giving the example of the restaurant. Like restaurant, they have rented the building where they keep their restaurant services. Still, they can play with the variable cost. However, decision to shut down the firm will be revenue. If lunch is less than revenue from lunch will be less than variable cost, but they will stay open if the revenue from lunch will be more than variable cost, because if they manage that their lunch becomes revenue from the lunch will be greater than the variable cost, then they're covering the fixed and the variable cost, because variable cost is always higher than the fixed cost, and it's only the cost that changes as the quantity output varies. Okay, this is the same condition. Shut down if the revenue lower than variable cost. Stay open if the revenue is greater than the variable cost. So this was up to the short run. Like this, we know that in the short run, the total revenue should be greater than the variable cost, or P should be greater than the average variable cost. Let me just type it for you to remember. Just we said total revenue more than variable cost, and price more than average variable cost. That will make you the firm to work. If the total revenue falls below the variable cost and the price falls below the average variable cost, then the firm shut down in the short run for a temporary issue. But when it comes to the long run, in the long run, if the total revenue is lower than the total cost, same as price falls below the average total cost, then the firm should exit the market. The firm should leave the market. Otherwise, there is no opportunity, there is no chances to generate enough profit to sustain your businesses. You have to leave the market. So this is the condition. For example, if you're a firm in the long run that you face that your total revenue doesn't go above the total cost, then there is no need to stay in the market, and you have to leave it in the market. However, if you see the total revenue is more than total cost, as the same like price is more than the average total cost, it's a good incentive for the firm to enter into the market. Like as a newcomer, as a new firm, if you see that in the market that people are earning good money, like total revenue is more than total cost, and this is a good sign for you to go into the market to earn the profit. So the and as we said, the definition of the perfectly competitive market, that free entrance and a free exit. There is no one who can affect you. There's no one who can get some impact on you to enter or to exit the market. It's a perfectly competitive market. So in the long run, the firm will produce a marginal cost curve if P is more than average total cost. This is the price, and this is average total cost. The price should be above this. It should not fall below. So you should produce on this curve, above this line. So that where you're gonna make a total revenue, where you're gonna make a profit. We know the profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. And if the price falls below the average total cost, where total revenue is less than the total cost, then you will incur a loss where you do not motivate it to be in the market. You will just exit the market as a firm. So measuring the profit, if P is more than average total cost, you will earn profit. Like it will bring you total revenue higher than total cost, or you can calculate in a following like price minus ATC times Q, you will find the profit itself. If P is less than ATC, like price is less than average total cost, you will get a loss where total cost minus total revenue, which means that total cost will be higher than total revenue, or equally same, average total cost minus price times quantity will give you a negative profit. So the array of the shaded box here, price on the average total cost, represents the firm's profit. So this shaded box, like rectangle, represents the profit. The height of this box is the price minus average total cost. So this height, the difference, it's a price minus average total cost. This is a curve of the average total cost. And then with a box of the quantity timing, in a panel A, the price is above the average total cost where the firm has got the positive profit. In panel B, the price is below the average total cost. Here, as you can see it, here's the average total cost. It's below the average total cost. So the firm incurs the loss. So loss minimizing quantity. So this is like average total cost minus price times quantity will give you a negative profit. Here, price minus average total cost times quantity will give you a positive profit. And one more thing, this price is the same as average revenue and is the same as marginal revenue. And this profit is maximized when the marginal revenue is equal to the marginal cost and at the same time is equal to price and at the same time is equal to average revenue. Just keep in mind. Now right here, marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, same time is equal to P is equal to average revenue. And it is the play is the time when marginal, when the profit is maximized. Is the profit is maximized. However, when the total cost is minimized at the point of where the marginal cost is intersecting with average total cost. The average total cost at its minimum with the cross point of marginal cost. So when the marginal cost is equal to average total cost, please. So it is equal to average total cost is minimum. This is the point actually. So in the short run, the market supply with the fixed number of the firms. In the short run, the number of the firms is always fixed. You cannot increase immediately. Even there is a huge demand, you won't be able to increase it because in the short run. Each firm supplies the quantity where the price is equal to the marginal cost. For if the P is more than average variable cost, the supply curve is the marginal cost curve, and the market supply is adding up the quantity supplied by each firm. So in diagram is shown in this way. So we are trying to find the relationship between the marginal cost and the supply. So we say that the marginal cost is supply curve. At the same time, as the quantity increases, so as the price goes up, the quantity will increase as well. So in the long run, if the firms find out that the price is to be higher than the average total cost, these big a sign for the firms where they can make a positive profit. So they will start enter to the market. If the price is less than average total cost, the firms make a negative profit, and this is a negative sign for the firms. They will leave the market. So this is in the long run, but in the short run, the firms, number of the firms is fixed. Nobody can affect in the short run, but in the long run, we're talking about the long run. If in the short run, we said if the price is lower than average variable cost, look, in the short run, we are dealing with the average variable cost. In the long run, we are dealing with the average total cost, because in the short run, why we are dealing only with the average variable cost? Because fixed cost cannot be influenced. The fixed cost cannot be changed. Whatever was with the fixed cost, it is the fixed cost. So there's no way to affect the fixed cost. That's why we're dealing only with the average variable cost. And this is only the first short run. If the price is lower than the average variable cost, if you remember in the short run, I said, it was said that the price is less than average variable cost, then the firms shut down. Temporarily, not like forever. They just shut down for temporarily till the situation has been solved. However, if the prices becomes more than average variable cost, they make some profit on it. And in the long run, if the price is more than average total cost, it's a sign for the firm to enter into the market. If it's less than average total cost, it's a sign to just leave the market. So the process of entering and exiting ends when the firm still in the market makes zero economic profit. Because when it's zero economic profit, the marginal cost is equal to average total cost. And this is the efficient scale. This is the efficient level of achievement that the firm is getting their maximum. So the profit is maximized. I mean, their best point where the firms will be satisfied and nobody will enter and nobody will exit the market. It is the point where the firm makes zero economic profit. But it doesn't mean zero money. They don't receive any money. They receive some part of money, but it's not zero, of course. It's some little bit profit, because the market is very highly competitive and they're receiving a small part of profit. And basically, it is zero economic profit. How this profit is calculated is total revenue minus total cost, if you remember. But profit, we said that is calculated total revenue minus total cost. You know this. But this total cost is not just a cost incurred by investing and by variable cost. It's not just a fixed and variable cost. It is explicit plus implicit cost, if you remember from the previous class. Like the cost that you cannot measure. However, there is a cost like which is called as an opportunity cost. That's why you make your economic profit to be equal to zero. Your accounting profit is not zero. Your economic profit is zero, but accounting profit is not zero. So in the long run, the firms will enter or exit the market until profit is equal to zero. As a result, the price is equal to the minimum average total cost, where the marginal cost is intersecting the average total cost. And the number of the firms adjust to ensure that the all demand is satisfied at that price. The long run market supply curve is horizontal in the price as shown in panel B here. So this is the where they make zero economic profit. However, this doesn't necessarily mean there is zero money they receive. Then there will be no need to stay in the market. Who will work for zero profit? Why should I kill myself and produce something and earn nothing. No, these firms, they earn accounting profit, but they do not earn economic profit. And once again, economic profit is total revenue minus total cost, but that total cost includes both explicit and implicit cost. But when it comes to accounting profit, is called total revenue minus explicit cost, that the cost can be explicitly measured. So in here, it's economic zero profit. Okay, I don't need to discuss it. I already discussed. So market in the long run equilibrium, the price is equal to minimum average total cost, where it is equal to marginal cost. So this is the best point that can be achieved. Price is equal to average total cost and is equal to marginal cost. So there is a zero economic profit. There is an efficient scale, like you are at minimum level of production. So increasing the demand, of course, that will shift the demand outward. In the short run, there will be higher quantity, higher price, and there will be a positive economic profit. So there will be a sign of positive economic profit. Yes, and that positive economic profit in the short run will bring more firms to enter into the market in the long run. And short run supply curve shifts right. The price will decrease back to minimum average total cost, and quantity will increase because there will be more firms in the market and efficient scale exists. So as diagram shows here, you will understand better. So this is the case where the market begins the long run equilibrium. This is a long run supply curve, this is the short run supply curve, and this is the demand. This is where price is equal to average total cost curve. Okay, here's the case in panel B. You can see it. Short run supply curve and price and average total cost, they're crossing in the same point. This is the efficient scale with the firm earning zero profit, where the firm is minimizing the cost. Economic profit, okay? If there is an increase in demand, the demand will increase. Increasing the demand, that will rise the price. As the price goes up, as you can see, the price goes above the average total cost. If the price becomes higher than the average total cost, that will be a sign for newcomers, for the new firms, that there is a profit. Please go and grab it. This is your turn. This is your opportunity. Otherwise, you will not have any other such opportunities. So this is your time to catch that profit. Please don't miss it. So all the firms, they rush in the long run to enter to the market. Once they enter to the market, what will happen? The supply curve will shift to the right, where it will bring the price back to its minimum, where the firms, they minimize the cost. So there will be no longer the profit greater than zero. The profit will be equal to zero, where the firms will stop entering and exiting the market. So this is the place where the firm stops, and there where the firm is satisfied at their efficient scale. Nobody's like earning like abnormal profit. Everybody's earning their accounting deserved profit, but economic profit is equal to zero because it's a highly competitive, perfect market. So the long run supply curve might slope upward, and some resources used in production may be available only in limited quantities. Increasing the quantity supplied will increase the cost, that will increase in the price. And the firms may have different costs, and the firms sometimes earn a profit even in the long run because of the different costs. And in long run supply curves, basically they are more elastic than the short run supply curve. Do you have any questions? Anything to ask? If you don't have any questions, guys, I will ask you to go and attend the pop quiz that I arranged for you. Please, if you have any questions, ask it. If you don't, then proceed to the Moodle. There is a pop quiz for you, but this pop quiz is not considered as a quiz. It is considered as a contribution to your class participation. It's available in Moodle, and there's a time limit. There are 4 questions, 4 multiple choices. Please proceed with that multiple choices. And you have a limited number of timing to proceed with that. Go to Moodle, and there's a password to use it. Once you submit, you can leave the conference itself. Okay. What is the password? I'm telling you guys, wait. It's Fin 2105 with 2 stars. Very true, Abzal. It will be with 3 stars. As we proceed with more quizzes, the number of the stars will increase until we reach 5 stars or 7 stars. Go and do it. Don't waste the time in here.